Let me tell you a story about a young boy. Not the kind of story people usually talk about. This one's a little bit darker. This one's a little bit more real. The boy was 13 years old when his life was turned inside out. His father, a Church of England vicar, a respected man, a trusted man, the kind of man that people shook hands with after church on a Sunday morning. From the outside, the family looked perfect. A big vicarage, 5 children, a community, foster children living in the home, a big community that admired him. But behind closed doors, things were very different. Then one day, the police came. The whispers started spreading through the town. The vicar that many people had trusted with their children had been arrested, accused of being a paedophile. Now imagine 13 years old. Imagine hearing those words about your own father. Imagine being the boy who told the truth. Because sometimes doing the right thing does not make you feel brave. Sometimes it makes you feel like you've just destroyed your own family. The story spread very quickly. The newspapers had their headlines. The community had its gossip. And the 13-year-old boy had nowhere left to stand. 1 year later, his father had taken his own life. And when something like that happens, life does not pause. There is no dramatic music. The world does not give you time to process. It keeps moving. The boy's world had already stopped. School became unbearable. Not just the bullying. Sometimes bullying is easier. At least bullying is honest. What hurt more were the looks of pity, the looks of shame. The teacher speaking softer than normal. The kids whispering in corridors. People staring like he was a walking tragedy. The boy began to disappear, first emotionally, then physically. Then he started spending less time at home, less time at school, more time outside on the road. Eventually he found a piece of wasteland across the road from his house, and that became his little refuge. He built small shelters and he lived in makeshift dens made of scrap wood and plastic, places where he could disappear from the world. But grief does strange things to families. Sometimes it pulls them together, and sometimes it shatters everything that they are. In this case, everything broke apart. The boy started running through fields, running through streets, running through the night. Running was the only thing that made sense, running away from everything. Eventually he stopped going home at all. He learnt how to survive on his own, sleeping outside, finding food wherever he could, walking through the night because sleep felt more dangerous than staying awake. He met other kids like himself, kids who had slipped through the cracks, kids whose parents were addicts, kids who ran from homes filled with violence. They formed strange little alliances, temporary families. Drugs found their way into his life, alcohol too, but not because he wanted danger, because he wanted silence. Eventually the local authorities caught up with him and the boy entered the care system. Now if you have ever worked in residential care, you might think this is where the story gets slightly better. But the truth is, many young people in care do not trust adults anymore. And this boy trusted no one. He ran away, he fought, he smashed, he pushed adults away before they could abandon him. And people began to label him troubled, disruptive, heading for prison, psychotic even. But every now and then something happened. A teacher refused to give up. A key worker stayed calm when he expected anger. Someone spoke to him like he mattered. Someone gave him their time. And slowly something started to change. Not overnight, but enough time to plant a seed. Years passed, the boy became a man. He started asking questions. Why did some adults manage to reach him when so many others had failed? The answer was very simple in the end. They cared. They did not see a problem, they saw a human being. They saw him. So the boy, now a man, decided to build something very different. A place where young people could arrive angry, they could arrive broken, they could arrive lost, and they could still be accepted. That idea became Shore Care Residential. One home, a small team, a simple belief. Build brighter futures. Accept every young person for who they are and build relationships based on that. Over time, that idea grew. And today, it's known as the WhiteTrees Group. Residential home, specialist school, therapeutic support, and hundreds of children who believe that their story was already written. But stories can change, and futures can be rebuilt. Now, earlier I told you this story was about a boy, one of many children who might live in care. But there was something that I have not told you. The boy whose father was a vicar. The boy who slept on wasteland. The boy who ran through the night. The boy who fought everyone who tried to help him. That boy was me. My name is Simon, and I'm the founder of Shawco Residential and the WhiteTrees Group. And everything we have today started with that 13-year-old boy who once believed the world had no place for him and he had no place in the world. And today, every time a child walks into one of our homes angry, scared, not trusting a single adult in the room, I recognise that look because I've worn it. And when I meet those young people, I do not see a problem, I see potential because I know something that they do not know. Your past does not decide your future. And sometimes the child people believe will never succeed becomes the adult who helps hundreds and hundreds of others to build their brighter futures.